Arsenal 5, Nottingham Forest 0. An annihilation at the Emirates today. Arsenal go back top where they belong this season. Another scintillating performance from Mikel Arteta's men. The first goal came after 4 minutes. The play between Saka and Martinelli, sensational. And then Reiss Nelson, who replaced Saka after an ankle injury with a brace. A team led at the front by Gabriel Jesus. He didn't get his goal today, but 2 more goal contributions from the assists and 2 stunning goals. One from Thomas Partey with an absolute thunderbolt with the inside of his foot from outside the box. And Martin Odegaard topping up a captain's performance, not just to give Arsenal the 3 points, but to blow away the cobwebs, to turn around and say, listen, we might have struggled to score goals in recent games, but we are top of the league. We are in this title race. Whatever you can do, we can do better. An emphatic annihilation from Arsenal today to go back top of the league. I want your thoughts. I want your highlights and your match reactions to this in the live comment section. Now, I am joined in the studio by Colleen. How are you?
I'm good. It's great to be back, especially after this game. I think it went exactly how everyone thought it was going to go.
Yeah, I mean, I expected you to win. I expected Arsenal to win, and I expected goals. But today was different. This was a message. This was a response to the Southampton game, a response to PSV. This notion, I kept on telling them, Arsenal aren't fatigued. They just had a couple of bad games. And today, Arsenal were back at it. They were absolutely sensational. Who stood out for you today in terms of top performers?
Oh, my God. I mean, I think rather than top performers per se on the Arsenal end, I think Forest made Arsenal look really good as a defensive unit, and how they managed to shut out Liverpool and how they managed to shut out Brighton. They were not on it today. Their wing backs were getting too tight. The centre backs were not playing goal side. It made it very easy for any Arsenal player to be your standout performer. I think you've got to give credit to Reiss Nelson. So that's probably who I will pick, because he's been on the fray of things for the last, not even this season, 2-3 years at Arsenal, and comes on, not a lot of minutes under his belt, and gets a brace. So all credit to him.
Yeah, and he does deserve that, because I kind of get the feeling there was a little bit of, I just going by the timeline. Oh, why Reiss Nelson? Why not Vieira? Other options, and he did brilliantly. But I've got to shout out Gabriel Jesus today, because he has been maligned, he has been ridiculed, he has been slagged off and attacked by all and sundry. Rivals are out in plentiful nature. Darwin Núñez has more goals. Gabriel Jesus, he's not scoring like Haaland or Kane, so he can't have been a good signing. Again today, his hold-up play, his press, his ability to bring others into the action, the goals that he helped create. The only thing missing today to top off another sensational performance from the Brazilian in an Arsenal shirt was the goal. So I was really happy for him and happy to see that performance. And it sets him up perfectly for the big game next Sunday at Stamford Bridge.
Absolutely. And we've got Javern over in the corner here, and I'm sure he's dreading Nketiah and Jesus coming over to Stamford Bridge. But I think that's even the conversation that we've even been having around Jesus and a different type of striker that he is, because it's not, of course, goals and assists matter, but what he's added to this Arsenal team, the energy and the way he raises them up a level just by purely being on the pitch, by pressing from the front, it changes the whole dynamics. And when Jesus isn't in the team, it's a whole different Arsenal.
It certainly is. He's been sensational this year. Goals are not everything as long as performance is there. Goal contributions, he's at nearly 85% efficiency, which means in 85% of his games for Arsenal, he's scoring or creating goals. That is world class. It's world class. 85% of games. It's absolutely phenomenal what he started to do. And it was a bit of a pressured game as well. We saw a few shocks this weekend. Brighton smashing Chelsea. We saw Liverpool outplayed by Leeds United at Anfield last night. No easy games in the Prem, no foregone conclusions. Most people did predict an Arsenal win because of the underlying elements of the game, the statistics, the records. But you still had to be on point today, and you were from the get-go. Was it nice to see such a fast start from Arsenal?
Oh, of course. It's always great to have a fast start when you're playing at home. And I think everyone kind of thought it might be one of those days where I think you probably would have thought if you were predicting this game that the second half would have been the first half and the first half potentially be the second half. Like blow them out the water in the first 30 minutes, then make some changes, maybe nick another goal in the second half. And that wasn't how it went. You know, maybe some Arsenal fans might have thought, even though we were so dominant, only 1-0 in at half time, thinking, okay, we do need to try and get the goals back again. Because as you said, we've had 1 goal in 5 prior to this match. But obviously, Arteta had lit a fire underneath them and the cream rose to the top.
It didn't. And like I said in the kind of build up to this, there was a lot of talk of Arsenal were fatigued. Arsenal were tired. Arsenal were running out of steam. And of course, the Football Terrace, we ask the questions. Asking questions isn't the same as a statement. And what I've said on every stream for the past 3 or 4 is this Arsenal team will come good again. You'll win your Europa League game in the week and top your group. And you have a phenomenal chance at Chelsea. You are on 31 points. No team has ever been on 31 points after 12 games and not been in a title race. Note the amount of points you're on now is pretty much on par with every title-winning team in the history of the Premier League after 12 games. This Arsenal team are legit. This Arsenal team are for real. And as long as you strengthen in January, 100% Arsenal are in this title race.
Take your Arsenal kit off. You're going to get accused here of being a gunner. What are you doing?
I'm always accused of being a gunner, but it's because I speak the truth. I can't do all I can do is speak the truth on the Football Terrace. And I look at this Arsenal team, and 110% legitimately, in my mind, I see a title challenging worthy team in the making. And yes, if you get obliterated with 4 or 5 long-term injuries, you won't. But that's the same for every single team. Arsenal Football Club are for real. Arsenal Club are not a flash in the pan. They're not on a purple patch of form. They are top quality this season. The results dictate that. The goals scored dictate it. The lack of goals being conceded dictates it. The position in the lead dictates it. We're not going to suddenly write off over 100 years of football history and knowledge and go, nah, I can't say anything nice about Arsenal because it's only 12 games. No team has been this good after 12 games and fallen away since Hitler was alive, since World War II. So come on now. Like, legitimately, I'm talking facts here. It's been a long 70, 80 years have passed since a team was this good and weren't involved in a title race. Drop your Arsenal agendas, drop your Arsenal hate, and just say it. And just honestly, free yourself. Baptize yourself and just say, Arsenal are good. Cleanse your soul. Cleanse yourself. I feel
We're
great.
At the church of the terrace here. Here we are on a Sunday. We're praising.
Reverend Fluids here. Hallelujah. What you've got to turn around and do is admit that Arsenal are good. Absolve yourself of sin.
Amen.
And you feel better about it. Shake a little bit. I don't know. No, my nan was evangelical. Her church was mad. It was crazy. I used to love going there. It's true, though. Baptize yourself and understand that Arsenal are here for the long haul this year. They're going nowhere. City will probably win the league, but Arsenal will be there or thereabouts. And thank God, Buddha, Allah, Yoda for Arsenal this season. Otherwise, City would just run away with it. If it wasn't for Arsenal this year, the league would be a lot drier. So, look, well done to Arsenal today. Absolutely brilliant.
Well, you're going to be getting some questionable mentions from some certain accounts now, Tel, with this little speech that you've gone on. But listen, Tel's right. What can we say? There's no one else who's challenging City as well as Arsenal currently. So, listen, let's keep it going. Let's see what happens. Let's take it game by game and keep going. So,
yeah, sorry, I had to just jump out my chair really quickly. Sorry? Yeah, need your mic a little. People are asking that there. Yoda. Yeah, the Yoda thing was a joke, brother. I know Yoda isn't well, actually, I do think Jedi is actually classed as a real religion nowadays. Someone got it through. But anyway, sorry, I just read something that made me absolutely die. Stop. Right, let's do some of these super chats that are coming through here. The first one says, Chelsea are losing next Sunday. That's the first thing I want to ask you. Are you confident of beating Chelsea now next week?
Oh, 100%. Light work. And I can't wait to see the reactions in the studio from Javern, who I'm looking across to right now. We don't even need Jesus. Stick out in Ketil. We might even roll out Holding. Light work.
Light. I mean, that's a big claim. Light work. This here says Jesus is amazing. Just need to stop dropping back. Make runs. Arsenal fans, we need to pressure Stan and Edu to buy players in January. Listen, I think you just keep Jesus playing the way you are. I don't think you should change him. He is perfect. To quote Billy Joel, I love you just the way you are. He's perfect the way he is. He's perfect. Do not change. I mean, I don't love Jesus. I'm just quoting the lyric from Billy Joel's song. Don't change Jesus. You change him. It's a bit like, you watch those films where people go back in time, they change one thing, and they come back and the world's all different. Don't change Jesus. Put pressure on your owners and Edu to buy more and invest more into your squad. Thank you, Chris Walker, for becoming a new member of the Football Terrace as well. It means a great deal to us. Thank you. This comment here says, Ben White has been sensational this season. That block in the first half was massive. Threw his body at it. Underrated. So good on the ball. What is your take, Colleen, on Ben White in general and this season?
I mean, I think when he first came in, he was doing a solid job at right back with our issues going on there. And now he's just emerging as a solid player. He's not just a right back covering. He can genuinely play right back or right centre back. And the question is now being asked, surely he's got to be on that plane to Qatar, at least as an option, considering the form of Trent, the injury to Reece James. Why not bring him on?
Well, without a doubt, he's been brilliant this year, especially moving to right back. And the block, as this super chat points out, there was a little mistake at the back from Gabriel again. And it ends up falling at the feet of Lingard. And you think, it's going to be 1-1. What a block it was. The reaction time. We saw yesterday at Anfield, Virgil van Dijk sleeping for that first goal. Wasn't alert. Wasn't ready for a teammate to make a mistake. You always are alert at all times. Give me Gakpo or Jonathan David and Neves. I am happy, is what Chris Walker says here. Shout out to you guys. Great win today. Lots of goals. Loving it. Looking good, Colleen. Nice hair, Terry. Thank you on the hair comment. Appreciate that. And compliments of Colleen as well. Great message by Arsenal. I was about to go to bed as I'm in Perth, Australia, but she is, I think they're saying you're hot.
Great. Cool. When I'm down under, I'll let you know, Stuart. Basically.
Listen, I think it was a great message from Arsenal today. And I think one thing that I'm a Man United fan and we played well recently. And I'm like, but I want to smash someone. And what today's victory does, not only does it blow away the cobwebs of, failing to score against PSV, only one goal being scored per game in your last 3 or 4 matches. It sends out a statement to everybody in the Premier League again. I think a lot of rivals were building up a little bit of steam of, I told you Arsenal were a flash in the pan, said they weren't going to be very good. This response, especially, they just smashed the team, by the way, who outplayed Liverpool a week ago.
Well, I mean...
Well, maybe that's not too hard. Maybe it ain't too hard.
What are we saying about Liverpool over here? I don't know.
Colleen, link me at the coffee shop.
Babe, which coffee shop? There's a million in London. You're going to have to narrow it down.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to say which one because I don't think he'd turn up. I don't think he'd turn up, Al.
Do you think he'd stand me up?
Oh, he's based in America.
Oh, well,
that's a long way.
There's a big problem there.
If you're going to fly all the way from wherever you are in the States to London, you've got to meet Colleen. Come on now. Maybe we can film it, make some content, like a dating show. Like first dates. The first Football Terrace dates.
I think with
date night on the terrace. We have Jesus and Mohammed. What do you expect? Back to my religious things. Yes, you do. And lots of Gabriels. Gabriel must be. I think any name that ends in EL is biblical, right? I swear I read that somewhere once. But yes, Gabriel, definitely. That's where there was an angel called Gabriel.
Yeah, Angel Gabriel, yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
Not bad for an atheist. Light work. Our players will turn up against Arsenal. Dyke here is a Chelsea fan. And he does not like your confidence, Colleen.
Well, give me a reason to be quivering in my boots. I've got no reason to be right now. What have Chelsea and Potter shown me in the Prem that Arsenal are top of the league, top of the Europa League group to be scared of? And our recent record at Stamford Bridge, when we've been out of form, has been great. So give me something to be scared of and I'll happily be scared. It's Halloween after all. So give me some reasons.
Listen, I'm going to say this now, and I'll do proper previews next week, but Arsenal are the favourites at Stamford Bridge. As it stands right now, the lack of intensity in Chelsea's game and the way Arsenal play football, I think they are the marginal favourites. However, Arsenal got to be on it because Chelsea have so many good players in their team. It's going to be a sensational Sunday, and you know where you've got to be. On the football terrace for every single match reaction. We're going to go to some calls now. First on the show, backed by popular demand, man like Gav is here with the silkiest, smoothest, deepest voice in football content. He's the talking seal, as in the singer seal. That's what I mean. What are you saying, Gav?
Yeah, I'm good, man. How are you, man?
I'm good. Give me your thoughts.
First things first, don't talk about my voice being beautiful. I just heard you sing. Absolutely fantastic.
Get a room, guys. Get a room. Get a room.
No, I'm happy, obviously. 5-0. You can't moan. But there are still a couple of issues that I think Arsenal need to iron out a little bit. Intensity-wise and pressure-wise, we are the best team in the world when it's 0-0. And then as soon as we score, we just take our foot off the gas. And I was a little bit concerned. I wasn't really impressed with the way Arsenal slowed the game down. I just felt at that time you just got to keep pushing, because if it gets to a point where we are in a very favourable position towards the end of the season, we don't want to be like how Liverpool have been, or like that season when Man United narrowly missed out to Man City and worried about how many goals we're scoring. I think we do need to concentrate more on getting the ball in the onion bag, personally. But the second half was unreal. Absolutely unreal. Dominated from 45 to 90. I was a little bit concerned with Reece Nelson when he came off the bench because he looked a little bit too eager for me. I thought he was going to get a booking or get himself into trouble. I thought he was going to get hauled off on 60 minutes. I actually sent a voice note to my friend at half time saying, this ain't going to work. And then 7 minutes in, he's back to brace. So what do I know?
I'm the same as you. I'm eating my words a little bit with Reece Nelson. I mean, cometh the hour, cometh the man.
Yeah, it's one of those players that, sorry, my daughter's here. She's she keeps pressing the advert buttons. One sec.
Whilst we go to a short advert break.
Yeah, look, I think with the intensity side of things, it's about getting it right. Like I think that the issue in some of the games recently for Arsenal is you've gone hell for leather. Like Southampton got the first goal, went hell for leather for the second, and then you run out of steam. And I think today it was a little different. Maybe you took your foot off the gas a bit, you reserved some energy, you still attacked, and you had something left in the second half where you absolutely blew them away. I wanted to ask you, Gav, though, are you starting to grow in confidence that you will be in this title race come the middle to latter stages of the season?
Come on.
Title race, yeah, of course. But in terms of winning it, I won't be. I'll even be saying, just take it day as it comes. We could be 36 games in, 5 points clear, and I'll be saying, just hold tight. Let's just see how we get on in the next game. Until it's mathematically impossible that we can't.
Matt, join my side. Join my side.
I'm trying, but I'm 35 years old. I've been an Arsenal fan pretty much my whole life. And I've seen all the good stuff. I apologise to my brother on a regular basis. He's 10 years my junior. I apologise to him so much because the last title success that we had, he was 7 years old. And he's had to deal with a lot of hardship, and so have we as Arsenal fans. I'm just enjoying the ride, and it's so nice to see it at the moment. So until let's just enjoy what we've got at the moment. For me, at the beginning of the season, if he said top 4 and a decent European push in terms of getting to like the semi-final stage of the Europa League, I would bite your hand off right now. But now how I'm looking at it, even with the team dropping out of the Champions League, I'm thinking we could go on and win that competition.
Absolutely.
And we can. I can't see any reason why we can't finish any lower than second. So it's just let's enjoy it. We've got to enjoy it.
Yeah,
let's enjoy
and I agree. And I agree with you, mate. Definitely enjoy it. Gav, I'll let you get back to your daughter, mate, and we'll chat again soon, brother. Top man. Thank you very much, mate. All the best. Thank you. Viewers, make sure you're smashing the like button for us right now. That should be the first thing you do when you come onto a Football Terrace stream. Do some more super chats here. Arsenal score 5 and Colleen is a 10.
I do like playing the 10 role. Sometimes I can be shifted out wide a little bit, but 10 is.
You prefer to be in the 10.
Yeah,
you prefer it there. There we go. This is how you respond to drop points in recent games. Lots of goals and a performance to go with it. Loving the hair, Terry, and Colleen is such a beauty, is what Strange Diplomat says here. Thank you for the compliments. I hate myself for saying it. Reece Nelson comes in and Saka was a blessing in disguise, in my opinion. Well, maybe, look, he got the brace, but he could be out now. Do you know, if I was a Gooner, though, let me ask you this question as a Gooner, and I want the viewers to answer this as well. Saka to miss the Chelsea game, but to then miss the World Cup, but be back fresh and ready for Boxing Day, or him to be back for the Chelsea game, but go to the World Cup and play. What would you rather as a Gooner, Colleen?
I don't know, because obviously I want England to do well as well. But if I'm purely with my Arsenal cap on, I'd want him rested into the back from when the World Cup is over and fit and ready to go again. It's an impossible question, to be honest with you. But it's also alluding to what Arteta said. If you're going to be a top class player, you need to be able to play 70 games a season. So hopefully this is just a little knock. But for an Arsenal fan, it is nice to have another option if we do have to lose him. Because initially I was thinking Marquinhos, Vieira, or Nketiah. Nelson didn't even come to my mind. I didn't think he was even going to come on. So Arteta's clearly seeing something. Yeah,
in that game that he could benefit from, no doubt. I don't believe the Chelsea game will be that easy. No matter what happens to them, they are still a good team. That makes London. Let's make London red next week. You're welcome to come to Melbourne, Collins. Another invitation.
Oh, get me down on. I will try and do an Aussie accent, but it just nothing happened.
All right, Sheila.
All right, Sheila. Good day, mate. Shrimp on the barbie.
Barber? Oh,
Barber.
On the barber?
I think it went northern then.
Put another shrimp on the barber. I'm from Australia. Henderson has gotten a lot of whoopings this season.
I think you should talk about that, because he was tipped to take over De Gea.
Listen, he had a brilliant game, brilliant game against Liverpool. Deserved the plaudits against Liverpool, but he is not a top class goalkeeper. He never will be. He's okay with his. I think his distribution is average for a goalie who's good with his feet. And when it comes to shot stopping, he's probably just about mid in all goalkeepers being compared. Nick Pope better than him. Saving shots. Nick Pope better. Alisson better. Edison better. Ramsdale better. De Gea better. You know? I'd argue Dubravka's as good at stopping shots as him. So, yeah, I'm not surprised to see this. I'm so happy for Nelson. It's been a rocky road. Yeah, look, and I'm very happy for him. It will definitely help his confidence in his career. Girls have loved me my whole life and had many girlfriends. Think I'd turn up for Colleen. Anyways, Terry, does Anthony train spinning? Well, he's not in the squad today. He's out injured, so no spinning from Anthony today. But
no Beyblade.
Yes, none of that from him at all today. We had another super chat just came in here, a huge one from Stuart Nickel. Thank you so much for that donation. He says, "Okay, wow. I was with you, Terry, at the walking to your car days. I do love your vibe and love the Arsenal, but Colleen is keeping me up."
Cool. Come back for the next one for after the United.
I do hope, Stuart, you mean awake. I hope you mean awake. But I appreciate the super chat. And I appreciate the super chat and, of course, your support for all those years of the Football Terrace. It means a great deal to me that so many of you are still here after all these years supporting us. So thank you. Terry, remind Colleen that they haven't won nothing yet. Man United were second at 13 games last season. No, not last season. It can't have been last. You mean 2 seasons ago? Last season we were about mid-table. Southampton were fourth. Keep our name out of your mouth, Colleen. Chelsea fans are not happy with your Cole.
Wow. Will certainly put me in my place there. But what can I say? As I've said, I need something to be scared of, and I'm just not scared of his right now. I'm sorry. I'm happy to be scared. I'm happy to be shook. But shake me.
No, I get it. Listen, I've said it before, and I'll say it again when it comes to Chelsea. Arsenal can't go in there complacent. They're Chelsea Football Club, but it's going to be an amazing game because you've got Chelsea in poor form, Arsenal flying top of the league. it's a ground that typically Arsenal haven't done too well in, but last year, of course, they got that victory and have had a number of good results against Chelsea in recent years. So it's going to be a very, very intriguing game indeed. It really, really is. We're going to have a chat with Jason now. Jason is an Arsenal fan. What are you saying, Jace?
Yes, Terry. Come on, man. 5-star performance. The team's looking banging, just like a hairline and just like Colleen as well. Come on, man. We are back. We are absolutely back. Come on. I mean, obviously, coming from the win, obviously, we started really well with Martinelli as well. And then we kind of put the foot off the gas. And I kind of tend to be worried. Like, over the last few games, I just felt like, is this going to be the same Arsenal again and again? But you know what? Saka's injuries tend to worry me as well. And then Nelson came up and then surprised me, like scoring 2 goals as well. So it was good for Nelson and his confidence as well. And I never thought Nelson would get a game at Arsenal itself. And I thought his career at Arsenal's finish as well. But this is a time to revitalize his career. And he has good confidence as well from this game, and push on to do greater things. And you know what? We could be a surprise package for the season. And you know what? Fair play to the guys, and we're top of the league as well. Yeah, absolutely,
mate. Listen, and you guys should be very, very happy with how you're playing. You should be over the moon to be back top of the league. And listen, games like today, you'll get rivals say, "Oh, you should be winning these matches." It's Nottingham Forest; they're probably going to get relegated. But you didn't just win; you did it emphatically after a busy and tough week, and that ends October for you, and October was going to be the month that Arsenal fell off. So you should be very, very proud of that.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
And you know what? The team is going to give a lot of confidence for the team as well. And you know what? And in the January transfer window, it's going to be the most important window that we're going to have because if Arsenal have ambition to push on to that next level and maintain that title charge, we need to sign a striker. I mean, obviously with Gabriel Jesus, as much as he missed sitters after sitters, you know what? He still has 3 assists. He still has something to offer in that game. And I feel like as a striker of Ivan Toney, we need him as well, and a central midfielder. We need to upgrade that attack as well itself. It's just not enough. But
you definitely, I get that completely. I do, mate. Listen, great call, Jace. Great energy, and we'll chat to you soon, bro. Thank you very much indeed. Top man. Thank you. And I wanted to ask you that, Cole. I mean, there isn't too much. We've already reviewed today's game, spoke about some points. Of course, listen to the responses of viewers. But October, was meant to be the month where Arsenal got found out. Arsenal lost multiple games. Arsenal stopped being brilliant as they were in the opening few weeks of the season. And you've comprehensively, barring one draw in the league, you've shut all the doubters up.
I mean, to be fair, even though everyone knows I've been very confident about Arsenal, bordering on delusional, but I don't think anyone could have predicted, especially with the tight fixture schedule that everyone's having to face in the lead up to the World Cup. You just thought inevitable, not just Arsenal, but generally teams will start to drop points. So massive credit to Arsenal and Arteta. But I think Jason's right in terms of Arsenal are ahead in their project, shall we say. No one predicted that they should be this high up the table at this point and have maintained this. So I think if they're there, as soon as we lead up to the World Cup break, the Cronkies need to back Arteta and Arsenal to try and maintain this train and see where we can go.
Absolutely. And that would be my... Listen, most Gooners I speak to are level-headed. Most Gooners I speak to understand that improvement is needed for you to go to the next level. And I think maybe if you were sitting third right now, 5-6 points off the top, playing well, I don't think there'd be as much pressure to go big in January. I think everyone would say, well, let's wait till the summer when we're meant to spend again. But the fact that you find yourselves ahead of the curve everybody expected you to be on, there should be an element of, right, let's take some of the summer's money and let's go and spend it now.
Well, even it's an opportunity that might not come again to try and win the league. I mean, not again, but like in terms of everyone else being so poor, with Liverpool being out the running, United not quite there yet, Chelsea not quite there yet, Tottenham, you never really know what you're going to get with them.
And as long as it's players that you would look to sign in the summer anyway,
why not?
Where is the risk? Yes, you may end up spending an extra £5-10 million on a player, but imagine you sign another top forward and another very good midfielder, and you win the league. Surely there wouldn't be a single Arsenal fan on planet Earth that go, I know we won the league, but look, we ruined their excellent net spend. Like no one cares about the only time honestly, in my life, the only time people care about net spend and how much you spend on players is when you're losing and you're trying to justify like a pound for pound argument, or when your team's rubbish. And they're combinations of the two things. Failures and losers care about net spend. Everybody else, when they're winning, couldn't give a damn how much they spent
And I'm
on
sure
players.
the Cronkies won't care either. If they walk away with a Prem title, do you think the Cronkies are going to care? Absolutely not. I don't care.
And it's on the cards, and people keep talking about Arsenal and writing them off. We're only a handful of games away from being halfway through the season. I got after 1 or 2 games, people will say, oh, we've got to wait. But what we now, 12 games in? After you play Chelsea, it's going to be, what if you beat Chelsea and you're 13 games in? And then what if you win your game after that? Suddenly you're 14 games in. There has to come a point where people take Arsenal seriously. And if you don't think they're title contenders, they are a shoo-in to finish in the top 4, in my opinion. There's a comment here that says we still have Emil Smith-Rowe to come back to this team. That's a great shout as well, isn't it? Yeah. Smith-Rowe to come back.
Yeah, I mean, he was absolute quality when he burst onto the scene against Chelsea, actually, at the Emirates, when things were doom and gloom for Arsenal. And ever since the back end of that season, he's been struggling with a few injuries and he's not quite been himself. So it's almost, I hate that saying, but it's almost like a new signing coming back in after the World Cup, and what player he is.
Absolutely. And this super chat here says, really happy for Reece today. I hope he carries on from here. Today's performance really just sets us up for Chelsea. Eddie Brace incoming.
Of course.
Yeah, it could be an Eddie Brace. He ain't scored recently, though, but it's going to be Gabriel. If anyone's going to score, it'll be Gabriel Jesus. Yeah, he will silence fans, I think, next week against Chelsea.
Yeah, I think we need to have a fan cam solely just for Javern, just for that, because I want to see and live the pain of each moment of Arsenal beating Chelsea at Stamford Bridge.
We'll definitely have that set up next week.
Chelsea
fans need to shut it. Like Terry says all the time, no team has started this well and not made top 4. That's our objective. Worry about Brighton. And I think that's the thing for me where I've been I understand there's banter and then there's silliness. And I keep seeing Arsenal doubted. And I saw it creep in middle of the week, and Arsenal fans all became a little bit quiet because they lost. And I don't know, maybe, we're fatigued. Can we get back? And I was on a stream with 5 Arsenal fans. And I was literally the only person on there saying, come on, guys, it's just a bad couple of games. And I pointed out in a video earlier on this week, Liverpool's record-breaking title-winning season, they went through like a 4 or 5 game period across all comps where they lost about 4 or 5 games from 7. If you go through most teams' seasons where they win a league, you'll find these little poor patches within them. Arsenal have just had this. All this has been is Arsenal's poor patch. They're going to bounce back now. They've got a great chance against Chelsea. They're going to top their Europa League group, and then they go off to, for a break for the World Cup. And I think they'll go into the World Cup top of the league, and they'll come back for those Boxing Day and festive fixtures in absolute high spirits, and a week away from maybe going into the January transfer window and spending more.
Oh, Tell, honestly, you're not doing yourself any favors with these Arsenal fan allegations. I know he's rooting for West Ham right now, as well, but I agree with Tell. It's great that you're on the side of N5.
Look, it's just, you know what it is.
Get your red and white scarf up. Ditch the gold and green one. Ditch it. Come on, just put it on.
I think for me, it's I do get it, and of course, I've been accused of being a secret Arsenal fan all season. But I was accused a couple of years ago when in the run up to Chelsea winning the Champions League, I saw him doing it, and I was called a secret Chelsea fan. Last year, I really thought that Liverpool were going to catch City in the league, and they almost did. But people the whole time said, you're just a secret Arsenal fan, Liverpool fan. And I'm not. I call things as I see them. I think Arsenal are in a great place this year. Terry, Chelsea thrive as underdogs. Beware, Colleen. Listen, I don't think you write Chelsea off.
No, I'm not writing them off. I am being quite confident and cocky on this stream today, but I would never write Chelsea off. But if I can't feel confident going into playing Chelsea at Stamford Bridge now, when am I ever allowed to have that kind of confidence? If it's not now, it's going to be never. So why not?
I get you on that. This super chat says, I have to give Arsenal praise on how they are playing so far. They have been brilliant. And as Chelsea fan, I am not looking forward to next week. Jesus is a brilliant player and don't get the criticism. And you know what? I don't get the criticism. I do get the criticism of Gabriel Jesus. It is shrouded in jealousy. It is shrouded in fear. And it is absolutely saturated in desperation of trying to find something negative in relation to Arsenal, because there's been nothing. And people have, Arsenal were banter FC for a decade. the Talk Sports and the airways were lighting up with Arsenal content whenever they were losing or whenever they failed or whenever they fell back and they didn't expect to. And suddenly you're 12 games into a Prem season and 16, 17 games into the overall campaign. And there's been nothing negative to say. So people have been clutching at straws. And the irony is the same people that will say stats mean nothing, watch the eye test, whatever influence does a player have. They've been trying to slag off Jesus because he doesn't have the most amount of goals. But when you actually look at his GA, the full stats that you look at for an attacker, he's up there with some of the best in the world right now. And when you look at his overall performance, he's been out of this world. He really has.
Yeah, I think it's the legacy of, the new Nunez transfer, the Haaland transfer, and the legacy of previous Arsenal strikers. Jesus is just a different type of striker. It is what it is. He's just a different type. We can't compare him to the other strikers that we see in the league currently. But I think every Arsenal fan and any neutral fan who's actually watching Arsenal can agree that what he's bringing to this team, even when he's not scoring, even when he's not assisting, is invaluable.
It absolutely is. And sorry, just looking at a shot there from Ronaldo. Ibby B here says October, 9 games, 7 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. And that for me is the pain that rivals will feel, because this is why I accepted how good Arsenal were in the summer. I don't like seeing Arsenal win. I don't enjoy it. I don't want them or anybody else to be better than Man United. But I'm accepting of it and I'm at peace with it because I didn't try and deny it. And what I've seen every week from people is they're almost sort of trying to will it into existence that Arsenal are going to fall off and be bad. And that's where their frustration comes from. I don't have that frustration. Because at this... Hang on a second. I don't have that frustration because I'm at peace with how good they are. The same as I don't get angry anymore at how good City are. I don't focus on how much money Chelsea and City have had to spend because of their super wealthy owners. I've just learned to accept that that's how it is. So, relax. Relax and move on from it.
As we've been at the Church of Terry today.
It is.
Set you free.
Anthony here says, Patrick said we can't score more than 1 goal.
Oh, boo, Patrick.
Listen, I love Patrick. He's a great guy, but he is very, very upset with how good Arsenal are. And he knows Spurs are in a good position, but he can see, just as I can see, that there is a lack of sustainability when you look at how Spurs perform compared to Arsenal, and he knows it. And what most people in football probably expected this season, if we're being honest, was... Most people this season probably expected Spurs to maybe not look sensational, but to look really solid and confident in games and sustainable, and Arsenal to maybe be a little bit more shaky. And it's been the other way round. And I think that has rattled a lot of people, especially, of course, Tottenham fans when it comes down to it. I hope Arteta fills a weak team midweek so Arsenal can be fully at full strength to play Chelsea. Would you like to see rotation, or do you want to secure that top spot 100% in?
No, I hear what you're saying, but the time for that was at PSV, and we scuppered that chance. We do not need the extra 2 games in January. It's not the end of the world if it happens, but we need to win that game. So if we can put Zurich to bed in the first half and then take off players and then rotate from there, that would be an ideal scenario. But we have to start strong, unfortunately, because the PSV game showed us that once we change our spine with Nketiah, Lokonga, Holding, we're at 6s and 7s. And it's such an important game to make sure we don't have extra games in January. We have to go full strength. Sorry.
Yeah, I actually agree. But I think it's one of those games where if you start with the right intensity, you could be 2 or 3 goals up, and then rest people, take people off, 5 substitutions, get that done. Deshane here with a member chat says, we are top. We have to challenge them, keep the integrity of the league. Big up, Reverend Terry. Jesus, 3 assists, played well. Party is levels. Did he get 3 assists today or 2? He got 2 assists today, according to who scored, but it might be different with different stats companies. But I saw 3 there, but there we go. Yeah, listen, it's going to be an interesting week. And as we build up now to only a handful of games left, everyone's desperate to win. You don't want to be a team that loses your last 2 games before the World Cup, because although you might enjoy it, depending on what nation you support, you don't want to be waiting 6-7 weeks to right those wrongs. Yeah. You need to go away with them W's, and because it's going to be a very intense return. Once the World Cup's out the way, I think it's pretty much non-stop football until March.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a long, long way to go. It really, really is. Hang on a sec, peeps. I've just got to stop talking for one moment. Nah, it's gone too wide. Ronaldo always goes too wide. He's just too old these days. Them hips don't lie. The hips don't lie when it comes to Ronaldo. A lot of people ask me about Lee Gunner in the comments. Listen, me and Lee will chat on Tuesday, as you know. I'll, of course, do my fan channel review later today as well. But yeah, Lee will be happy to a degree. Lee will be happy to a degree. And I told you all, by the end of January, he will be on the football terrace saying, I love Arteta, or Arteta in, or I apologize. That will most certainly be coming.
Yes, I think we'll all be looking forward to that. A good apology. A good apology.
There we go. In terms of January, what positions would you improve in the team, Cole?
I think my ideal and then what is realistic are two different things. I'm not sure in terms of like the kind of striker or winger that we'd be after we'd be able to get in January. It's not impossible. We've got Aubameyang in January before, but I think we do need another midfielder. Just because we've seen Lokonga when Partey's not playing, and that drop off is insane. And a lot of our build up comes from deep in that position. So I think if I had to pick one, we need another replacement for Partey.
Yeah, the midfield area is going to be really, really key, I think. And there are midfielders that are available across Europe. There will be. I think in the attacking element as well, as that Reece Nelson, scored today. And yes, you've got Nketiah, but I think that could be another area that needs to be that needs to be improved as well. And it's just getting that balance right. And I think as a player, I know that they're talking about Barca or Real Madrid, one of the two are interested, but I look at Ruben Neves as an example, a different sort of deep line midfielder that I think Arsenal should be really, really looking at. And there's a player at Brighton who every week, Caicedo, you had someone like Caicedo to your team. Not only do I think he could elevate you on, I think just the presence of someone of that quality joining you in January, the message it sends, it will lift the dressing room again to another level. As long as these players fit the profile that Arteta wants, I think there's a lot of very, very, very talented players out there that could really kind of move that needle for Arsenal.
100%. But we've seen this story before, rolling back to last season, where we had a great opportunity where we're ahead of course again, thinking, okay, we can now get in the Champions League. And unfortunately, whether it's because, the right player wasn't there, or, that's where the Cronkies, Edu and Arteta laid, we didn't end up finishing in the top four. I think it's a different situation this time, considering a trophy's on the line, a title we've not won in almost coming up to 2 decades. So I'm cautious that they will invest. I think it's the right thing to do, especially if we are in and amongst it come January.
Yeah, no, you certainly have to. You certainly have to. Super Chat here says, I once had one problem in Perth, Australia. That was Arsenal. That looks good at the moment. Now I'm looking forward to your good-looking panel. Love your hair, bro. But our 2 Guna girls are next level. Of course, I assume here you're talking about Jess and Colleen.
Not referring to yourself as the other Guna girl.
I can't think of who the other Guna girls are, but we never know. A few people have mentioned Tillemans in the comments as a signing. I'll tell you who else as an attacker could be a good option. Yeah. Trossard.
Yeah, that's who came to mind, Trossard. If you throw the money at it, I think Brighton will have to concede there and let the transfer happen. So let's see. These are great debates to keep happening. I'm sure we'll keep having them throughout the end, from now until the end of January. But I think it all lies on the Cronkies' ambition with Arsenal. And if they truly think, if they throw some money at it, could we sneak a title that we should really have no right of sneaking?
And these things happen in football. These things happen. There was Man United had won Premier Leagues, and we sold Ince and Kanchelskis and Mark Hughes, and we promoted the class of 92. And most pundits, and there's only the famous line from Alan Hansen saying you win nothing with kids, but most written journalists and broadcasters all said crazy. There's no way. Maybe in 2 or 3 years when they mature, but it's too soon right now. It's too soon. And it might be. And it worked. And Man United lost the opening game of the season that year against Villa. I think it was 3-1. I swear we drew the next game maybe, and then went to another level. You guys started off well. And you're right, it could be too early for Arsenal. But what great experience to learn from.
Yeah, and especially keeping up with that kind of pressure cooker of being in 4 competitions, everything being on the line. Because traditionally, that is what Arsenal Football Club is. It's just in the last 10, 15 years, that environment hasn't been there. So it's a great experience for these young lads, especially if they have ambitions with winning with Arsenal in the future. It might be too soon this season, but for right now, take it game by game, and hopefully the board will back them and have the same mentality.
Absolutely. Viewers, I really appreciate all tuning in. We are live again after Manchester United versus...
Terry.
Sorry?
There's a couple more super chats, and I've got something...
Okay. So I have a super chat here. It says Chelsea will be playing as underdogs. Come on, you Blues. Is from Alex. And beat Chelsea next week. Arsenal top 4 100% for me is what AMT says. I'm honest with AMT. I think it's 100% done already, if I'm being honest. So, yeah, what did you have to share with us?
So I've got a riddle here.
A riddle.
It says, I am worthless as a leader, but when I follow a group, their strength increases tenfold. By myself, I am practically nothing, neither positive nor negative. What am I?
I'm not gonna lie, that riddle was quite long.
I'm awful at these kind of things.
Is it going to be a weird dig?
I am worthless as a leader, but when I follow a group, their strength increases tenfold. By myself, I'm practically nothing, neither positive nor negative. What am I? I honestly don't know.
What is it? Has anyone in the comments got any idea?
No one in the comments said anything yet.
No, I don't know what it is, mate.
Okay, well, the answer is 0, and that is the amount of...
Oh, I knew it! I knew it! I've had enough! Get out! Okay, the stream's done. It's been great today. It's been great. Get out.
That's actually very true.
I knew it. I knew it.
That's very true.
As soon as I saw that smile.
0. That's a great point. Listen, viewers, we're back live after Man United versus West Ham. Make sure you smash the like button before you leave. Come join us for that match reaction, even if you're not a United fan as well, because we'll be rounding up the weekend here in the studio. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon.